Thank you, everyone, for joining the only podcast on the internet where you're part of the Roto, part of the chill session, so to speak. And today we're having a very special episode celebrating our 50th YouTube video. Woo, 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 woo.
Anniversary.
And we want to celebrate right, fellas.
Oh, how I miss smoking down the podcast with the ganj. Good God. It's been a minute indeed.
And we have a very special episode for you because we're going to start off with a Chill Crew double feature review. Woo. And we're going to start off with our non-spoiler review for X-Men Apocalypse.
And you're going to want to hear these because these were two bangers of movies, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, I agree. And if you've already seen Apocalypse, stick tuned to the end of the episode. We're going to go spoiler heavy on y'all.
These movies were so banging that if you're a virgin when you're hearing this, you're going to be penetrated from all holes in your body. I swear to God, by the time you're done with this. That's how banging these movies are. Don't scare anyone away now, Roger. No.
And for our non-spoiler review, I have to say, going in, I was pretty skeptical from all the pre-viewings, but I have to say, I quite enjoyed the film despite all the negative reviews. Yeah, I'll admit, it didn't live up to Days of Future Past, but I don't think it needed to. I think it was still one of the best X-Men movies yet.
And I was going to say, Days of Future Past was really well written, too.
Yeah, it was hard to top, dude.
Yeah, especially when you're putting a whole new timeline and you're supposed to, introduce a lot of X-Men going to Professor Xavier's school, which hasn't even, just barely begun. This movie is super dense, and you can tell by the length of time of the movie. I thought it was only just barely 2 hours, but no, it's almost 3 by the time we were out of it.
It was 2:30, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, one of my favorite parts of this movie, it finally sold me on Fassbender. I prefer Michael Fassbender over Ian McKellen. That just goes to show that this new First Class is going into a right direction for most of them.
To be fair, Ian McKellen is 75 when he first started. You gotta get he was the first Magneto, the first real cool villain that he was in X-Men 1, the one that started the superhero genre, that mega buster that we know today in terms of box office hits.
That was very important for me going into this because one of my favorite parts of the X-Men series is the relationship between Magneto and Dr. Xavier.
And I keep pointing this out to you fellas too, especially when I'm talking about when it comes to why I love the new Magneto so much. I even said before the movie, I said that once X-Men First Class, where he moves the satellites and he's crying, he's thinking about his family, he's using his powers in a light sense, not in a dark sense, and just the tears, the emotion, you can feel that. You get this one twofold in this movie. You get 2 scenes worth of that are just fucking bonkers with Magneto. And Apollo, man, you were definitely loving him too, especially the near mental breakdown he gets near the beginning of the movie.
Yes, quite. Don't want to spoil it yet, but oh my God, it was so intense.
He by far stole the movie acting-wise for me.
Hell yeah, it was awesome. And I kind of wish they focused more on him.
And it makes me more excited to see Fassbender take on the reins to play on a new assassin as well, so I'm excited.
That'll be tight as fuck.
He's now in 2 nerdgasm sort of genres, and he better not upset any of the fan base, or he will be dead by tomorrow morning. That I can guarantee you.
While we're still on the pros, I just gotta say, I love how there was so many stories going on, which normally could be a con, but they floated together in such a way where I quite enjoyed every storyline.
They all went great together.
One other pro I had is in this X-Men movie, I feel like it's the first one to nail all the humor when all the other X-Men movies have been quite serious. This one had quite a few humorous moments, especially with Professor X.
Yeah, they did a great job of both the dark and light moments of the film.
Yeah, and it's pretty brutal too, especially some scenes with Apocalypse, which we won't spoil yet.
Oh yeah, the movie started right off, just all these people getting crushed and all this shit, and there was a lot of death right away. It's get your children out now.
Especially at the beginning of the movie, it kind of illustrates one of the best parts about this movie in general, which is the music. When they first see Egypt back in the day, you have this very almost godly, awesome orchestral playing for Apocalypse and stuff like that, and you see that orchestral come in near the middle and end a little bit. Almost every time you kind of see Apocalypse about to do something major, or one where you see characters going through a metamorphosis. Almost like what you see through Magneto in this movie without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Music and song choice, for such a really cool villain, the villain himself kind of made it a little lackluster. So it was kind of a mix between...
Actually, we'll just jump over to the con section. I want to hear what you have to say about this Apocalypse, Roger. What's your problems with him?
I'm not intimidated by him, and I should be in every way, shape, and form. Okay, well, let me just give you a big example. You have an awesome fucking score that goes with a great movie. It's supposed to have an equal amount as greatness of a badass of a villain, except you have a guy like Apocalypse who... I had a hard time understanding him, caring about him, about his motivations, what brought him to be this type of person. He just wants to be a ruler because he wants to rule. He's a pharaoh?
There's not much past him. He's basically just a fucking Egyptian god.
I don't give a shit. I need more of a reason. He's still fucking human. I want to understand what brought him up here. And it showed like a little bit of that at the end of Days of Future Past when you see a kid making fucking pyramids and you have the 4 horsemen there. That was a kid at that time. I want to see flashbacks of him growing up with discovering these. He's the first Superman. That would have been interesting.
That actually would have been really tight.
It's just 5-10 minutes. 5-10 minutes. That's all I ask.
That would have been tight. I agree. But the way I view it is like he views himself more as a god, where he's actually not a god just because he was the first mutant, and people just really view him as a god, rather than he's not actually being god, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So he's just like full of himself in a way, and how he views it as his world when it's really not.
I can see it, I guess, in that perspective. But there was a point in his time when the kid when he was young and naive and probably didn't believe all that.
That definitely would have been very interesting to get into, and they probably should have, but I guess for screen time they wanted to cut it out because there was a lot going on.
There was, but I mean, 5-10 minutes. I mean, out of a 2-hour and 30-minute movie, that would have felt like nothing at that point. Like almost, you're already in it for the long haul.
At this point, just make it 4 hours. Let's just go for it.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
I also have a couple cons as well, and I think we all agree the ending fight scene was very weak.
Yeah, it was a big climax to nothing.
Especially after seeing the very creative action featured in Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
And this time it was huge letdown action-wise. And especially after Civil War, the best action we've ever seen in a superhero movie. Mm. Now we get Magneto throwing stuff.
Or you're just going to see his screen time with one of the Horsemen Apocalypse facing off one or two other X-Men. Another screen, like same thing, and it's not even like interesting going on.
It was very slow action. And the scenes were literally slow moving, and it's like this. I'm not really enthralled in the action because it doesn't even feel like it's happening in real time. And then they spend so much time talking.
But I do like the ending. I'll get more on that later. But another thing, con is I feel like all the Horsemen were underutilized, very much so.
Underutilized.
Storm, I'm so
Especially
pissed.
That was my selling point going in. That all of them look so badass. What I like about the movie wasn't what I was expecting to like going in, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
How do you make someone that is basically Zeus incarnate, fucking that's powered by another god, not do anything? Storm has powerful X-Men you have there, and all she does is shoot a little bit of lightning. And that's it. You don't see that too much after that fight scene after that. Summon winds or hurricanes or sandstorms, nothing.
Nope,
just a little bit of lightning and then she gets knocked out.
But using our unique marijuana scale where we start at the bottom of the bottom, we got resin. That's the black residue you scrape after you smoke a bowl, the weakest high you could get, and it's for people who hate themselves. Then we got mids. That's your typical ditch weed, gets you a good buzz. It's a good movie, but definitely has its problem. More for hardcore fans, probably a good time killer. Then we got dank. Gets you nice and baked. The movie is exceptional. Most people are probably going to like it and get their fix. Then we got wax. That's where he gets you so blazed you start seeing visions from Apocalypse. It's pretty much a perfect score. Personally, I'm going to have to give it a wax minus because it didn't live up to Days of Future Past, but I still really enjoyed it.
I'm gonna go full-blown wax because it was just fucking amazing, and it might be my favorite superhero movie of this year over Civil War and Batman vs Superman. So
I have to say that too. Actually, going in 2016, I never expected that, but it's so far my favorite of the year.
I joked about it being a possibility coming into it, and it turned out being true. So hey.
I guess I'm gonna maybe just give it a dank, almost a dank minus. A lot of the reasons I would give it that great is just I can't really talk about, only in the spoiler section.
Well, moving on, we have our Nice Guys review. Paulo, lay us down with what you got.
Well, this was one banger of a movie, let me tell you. I had no idea what I was watching going in. And at first, I thought that Russell Crowe was John Goodman because he was so fat, you know. But you know, after a few minutes, I was waiting. You know, where's Russell Crowe? I figured out that was Russell Crowe. Anyway, the movie had great humor, real characters, an awesome like 70s aesthetic and score that just it all comes together to just make a really great like LA noir style banger of a film. The actors all work great together. The two main characters, Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, they will just vibe great with each other.
I agree 100%. It's actually my favorite Ryan Gosling role I've seen him in.
I was going to say
the
same thing
Ryan
too.
Gosling role I've ever seen him in. So now I know who he is, and he's on my radar.
Yeah.
So
not only that, but I also thought like the movie had a really nice sensual theme of like good guys, you know. These are questions that the two main characters have to ask themselves, you know. Am I a good guy? What is a good guy? What defines one exactly? And it's sort of an answer that, a question that doesn't get brought up a lot among many of these other, like, very smart, sophisticated jokes that they bring up near the end that kind of is like, oh, that's why. That's why you said that earlier. That's why that happened.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really smart as a writer, like, to go back and think
jokes
about that. So I will say that. And I like the little girl. There's mainly three main people that you see throughout the movie, and I'm fine with all of them. And you need to have those three people be awesome or likable.
Yeah.
In some aspect, or the movie will not stand on
I
its own.
fucking hate kids, you know? But, like, that was a really good child character.
And I liked it because it was mostly a comedy, even though it was like a noir type, like, mystery film. And there's quite a few laugh out loud moments, especially like a dream sequence in the movie at one point. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, a dream sequence that they reference back to.
Yeah, one of those
that
references.
That was hysterical.
Yeah.
I really liked the storyline they had behind it as well, like how it all played out and the mystery behind it. They actually did a really good job.
Yeah.
Could have just told me the moral. Well, but the story was good.
They almost like referenced the movie in and of itself in this one scene when this chick's talking about the porno she made.
Oh yeah.
Like it's so it was actually about the story.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was cool. I definitely dug it, and I will fucking be seeing that again for sure.
I agree.
I'll be on that for show.
And I'm going to have to give this bad boy a dank plus because it really left me wanting more mystery in cinemas today because I think it's missing. And I like the child actor because Shane Black has worked with child actors before in Iron Man 3, that kid actor that was with Iron Man, so he showed his experience.
I'm going to give it a straight wax because it was just awesome. It kind of titillates you the whole way through with this intriguing mystery and great comedy and great character vibes, and just go see it. Just go friggin' see it. What's wrong with you?
I will also give it a ding plus, just because there was only that one unnecessary part that kind of like threw me out of like this awesome immersion I was having with these characters. Yeah. When I was trying to put it in my head, I was actually kind of having a hard time like piecing the story together because the parts that they do piece together and talk about like in exposition, it's quick. They talk, I don't know, they can talk about it for like probably 12 seconds or so. And then it's just you're just supposed to know, but luckily when you get to the main end of the movie, you kind of know the main thing, what's going on. That's all you need to know. I just wanted to make sure that the story in my head made sense as it did on screen, and it did. And it was just a little. I just thought it was a little choppy. They could have easily have added just another minute or two of the guys explaining the details over and over and over again. Except it was just really really quick pacing. It felt.
I could see that. So,
but it was still well paced. It was quick paced, but it was still well paced. It just wasn't good for the story.
Yeah, I can see. But yeah, the pretty dank double feature we saw this week. Definitely go to the theaters and check out these two films. I highly recommend, especially because Nice Guys isn't doing too good in the box office. I think it deserves better than that.
I think it deserves it, yeah. It definitely does. It's one of the more, I don't know, like more unique or a little bit different or slightly smarter movies, comedies that are out nowadays.
Check them out. And our first piece of movie news is we have some information about the female Wolverine. Apparently, Bryan Singer is rallying to get a female Wolverine casted for the X-Force movie to avoid recasting Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. And this would actually make sense because her clone is featured in X-Men 2. Roger, how do you feel about them doing this move?
I definitely love and dig the idea, even though I kind of hate how we're just bringing in all these genders and like races just for the sake of bringing in more. It's a marketing scheme in hindsight, in the grand scheme. You just have to view it as
female Wolverine. I think there's one in the comics too, if I'm wrong.
Well, the one in X-Men 2 is called Yuriko, and she's not really a clone. I think she's just another person that also...
Yeah, I know she's going to be similar.
Yeah, no, she's definitely going to be similar. I know in the comic books they have Wolverine's son, and the way I thought, Homer, you were describing, you said she had two blades or something like that?
Yeah.
His Wolverine's son does have two blades, and then he has a third one that comes underneath his palm or whatever.
Yeah.
Reverse Baraka.
Yeah, kind of, exactly. And it, basically from that blade, it stops all healing factors that stab there, so Wolverine can't heal. Basically, his son is his only weakness. So if they change that, maybe to his daughter,
that'd be interesting too.
Yeah, because they did show Wolverine with that one Asian woman I forgot in the Wolverine movie. He could have had a daughter, maybe.
Which, thanks to the Future Past, is no longer canon. She could still be alive.
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, I keep forgetting about that. That's no longer canon. I keep thinking it's canon, but just a different parallel universe.
Well,
which
kind
it
of
is.
in a way. Yeah.
I don't know. It depends. Yeah.
Time travel is a confusing thing.
Yeah, it all depends exactly where they're gonna go. I usually hate cloning stories. I find them to be really lame sometimes and cheesy, and it can ruin the stories from in the future. But
No.
I'm definitely down to see Wolverine's daughter. I want her to be extremely so tomboy, has so much testosterone. I want to feel like a bitch around her.
Yeah,
That's how much I want. I want to say Bub, have a cigar, get on a Harley, while Scott is in his Prius.
Yeah, I mean, normally I'm not down for cloning, but I'd be down this time because I don't want to see Hugh Jackman recasted. I think that would be terrible.
One can be. No, I think Hugh Jackman has set the standard. He is Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
And I don't want to see Wolverine in X-Men anymore, so putting her in X-Force makes perfect sense
Yeah.
with Deadpool and Cable and all them.
It's like different but similar.
So I think this could really work.
I just definitely want to see the outcry of the fans when the first trailer hits and you're going to see like claws go down a person's hand and then you're going to see that it's a woman's face, like, I don't know, that's bearing those claws or something.
I'm probably gonna want to bang female Wolverine.
I probably will too. I'll probably
yeah.
question myself.
Especially if she's a badass.
Oh yeah.
And now we're moving on over to some decent Power Ranger news, as we labeled it.
That's
Apparently-
actually is how we labeled it.
Lionsgate CEO is apparently very pleased with the Power Rangers film and actually moved it out of January and into March. And he says if it's successful, he could see him doing 5, 6, maybe even 7 films.
What? Is that how impressed he was? Like, oh my.
Yeah, like he wants to make this into a franchise, I guess. So I guess this is nothing but good news for Power Rangers fans. But then again, keep this in mind, Warner Brothers was very pleased with Batman vs. Superman before it came out. It's all from perspective.
True.
I think Paul will probably be with me on this too. We've seen so much like regurgitated shit from Hollywood, even though this Power Rangers thing is another regurgitated shit of that storm.
Yeah.
The Power Rangers story is so fucking wacky and weird and Japanese as fuck. I want them to go out weird
Yeah,
as
so do I.
shit with this. I want this to be like a different movie.
Yeah,
than
I want this to
see
be
in
like
Hollywood.
weird sci-fi meets Pacific Rim. That's
Exactly,
what I want
like
this to
go
be.
Pacific Rims, just make it more Charlie Day. Add 100 Charlie Days.
And it
go
kind of
wild.
seems like what we're getting. I saw the dinosaur was leaked. I'll put that in the video above. And we got
cool.
images of the suits. It's looking cool. I mean, so far, but it's
I
only a
don't
matter of
think
time till
we're
the trailer.
spandex.
Screw the spandex.
Spandex will die.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
But personally, I mean, I'm very pleased with that he's happy with it. But I say, sit down, wait before see how the first movie
Yeah.
does before claiming he want to do 7 movies.
Starts production in the next 3 movies
Dude,
already.
Tetris got guaranteed for a trilogy right out the gate, so I'm not surprised he's thinking about like fucking 6 or 7 Power Rangers. People actually like that.
Yeah, right. And we're going to get
There's a
to that
huge
Tetris
demand.
later, dude, in our new segment, but we'll get to that. Our next piece of movie news, we have some rumors for you that Tom Hiddleston might be our next James Bond, because Daniel Craig is on record that he is done with the role. And this is going to be James Bond's 25th film. Paulo, how do you feel about this?
At first, I was kind of like, what the fuck? He doesn't seem like the type of like manly, kicking ass character that James Bond is. But at first, I didn't really like Daniel Craig at all until I saw the film, and then I was down. And also, I'm reminded of Tom Hiddleston in Crimson Peak. And if you've seen that, then you've seen him, glove up and bash somebody's head into a sink. So you can see him do some badass shit.
You're right, he's not like the more manly. I could see him playing more of the suave James Bond type of deal, kind of
Yeah.
like back in the day.
Good British man.
Apollo, you know what? You're definitely right about everything, which is actually a good reason and came to me as you were talking. Why I'm, I guess, now more hopeful for this. I was a little bit on the fence on this, but now that I'm thinking about it, we had Daniel Craig. That guy's a fucking beast. That guy looks like a sociopathic killer just by looking
He
at him.
does look crazy.
He had no emotion. He's my least favorite James Bond. I will say this. I do not like Daniel Craig. I do.
He's okay, but his movies are good.
He does a lot of his own stunts. I respect him on that note. And he hated the James Bond movies, so maybe a lot of his anger and hatred towards it was because of the movie.
If you hated it? Why would you hire
Contracts. Yeah, exactly.
Bastards.
And-
Money ruins everything.
But you're right, Tom Hiddleston, he's a twig almost. And Homer, you're right, he is more like of a suave person.
Ooh, what if he beefs up for this?
He could do that too. That'd be so fucking weird. But better yet, see, the one reason I hate the Daniel Craig movies, they didn't show off the fucking gadgets that much. He never used them for being a
He
spy.
never used much crazier gadgets.
That's because he's a tank. He doesn't even need the gadgets. But
There's
Tom
a lot more
Hiddleston, he might need
action than actual, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
It could be
Spy
more of like
shit.
it could be more of a Splinter Cell type spy, like stealth mission type deal.
Like, I can see Tom Hiddleston being like you said, the suave gadget one, like just thinking 5 steps ahead of everyone, being like the L or the, sorry, I'm thinking of Death Note right now. Just like, it would fit super, and it would be a different James Bond than what we're trying to see. Everyone wanted a woman James Bond. They wanted an African American James Bond, which actually I'm pretty down with.
No,
but
Idris Elba would be amazing. He was in talks.
don't
That would be cool.
just get Idris Elba.
No, Idris Elba's the one I want.
Even
but,
as a villain, he'd be cool.
But Tom Hiddleston, I would not be too disappointed in. I'd be pretty pleased.
I would
And
not be angry.
Especially knowing that Thor movies are going to be few and far between going forward. So
True, I do want to see more of him, and we're not going to see much Loki, so.
that is very true. It's actually the last appearance as Ragnarok that Loki's giving. So yeah,
Aw.
enjoy him while we can.
yeah.
Soak in the Hiddleston while it
Who
lasts,
knows when the next Thor movie even will be, to be honest, like 2025. God, because they have so many other heroes to focus
Exactly.
on now.
Yeah.
So that's one reason I don't want X-Men going to Marvel, because we get so few X-Men films.
I agree.
Because there's a weird petition online, send it back to Marvel, where it's like,
Ugh.
screw you, Apocalypse
you.
was good.
Fuck you, people! My God.
Go home.
Our next piece of movie news is pretty cool for our horror fans out there. John Carpenter is confirmed to return to produce and score the new Halloween film, and he says it's going to totally erase Rob Zombie Halloween's, because originally we reported that they were going to follow the third one, but that's all out of the table. Roger, how do you feel about this?
Thank God, John Carpenter. I love you, you son of a bitch. I will sacrifice an animal in your name later tonight. But because one of the two main things, or like the main thing that people always think about the original Halloween's, what was so great about it? The score. It had one of the best, cool soundtracks in terms of any sort of horror genre in general. It was different. It was unique. It was kind of like fast-paced, upbeating, trying to get you like energized almost for a walking, hulking person. After seeing the abomination of Rob Zombie, of his piece of garbage, horrendous version of that franchise, I do not want to see Michael Myers hallucinating unicorns. I don't want him seeing his sister that he wants to bang or something.
Yeah.
I don't want his
Going super gore fest.
I don't want his niece or sister, the one he wants to kill, to kill him, then be the new Michael. No, I don't want. That's not what people want. He was trying to make it too edgy, too different, and too far away from the formula.
Edgelord.
Which I can respect on some instances, but he tried to edge it up like on the areas I didn't think was necessary. The only part I thought was necessary was maybe talking about Michael Myers' maybe horrible upbringing. It would make sense as to why you made him, but that's what made the first one so good. He was in a normal family home. He almost seemed like he had everything going for him, and that's what he murders people. Why? Because he has the blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
Yeah.
The devil is like, he's like the epitome
more
of evil. That's the whole
supernatural.
point. Yeah, like he's supposed to be supernatural and not at the same time, until Halloween Paul Rudd ruined it with the draconian fucking
Curse.
cults. Yeah, and the Nordic cults or whatever. Fuck me.
Yeah, it gets pretty weird, but I think all the slasher franchises got pretty weird after a while.
Oh, exactly. After you make like 5 or 4 movies, hell, even more than 3, it goes downhill.
I'm not a big.
That movie made me want to see more Paul Rudd in horror.
It did almost. I agree with you on
That's a so bad it's good movie.
that.
Yes.
But dude, I guess this is the best case scenario for Halloween fans.
Oh yeah, very
Reasons to be
good.
excited,
I'm definitely fucking stoked.
especially knowing that Friday the 13th is also getting a reboot soon. So competition. What if they start a cinematic universe?
Fuck people who like Jason over Michael Myers.
They should have them face each other, bro.
That'd be actually a really nice match. It'd be kind of boring because they just walk up to each other.
Walking.
Like Terminators, like two T-1800s or
Yeah,
whatever they're called.
800.
T-800s.
Okay, Terminator, nerd Homer.
But yeah, anyways, moving on to our new segment called We've Lost Faith in Humanity. It has been confirmed that Tetris is going to get a film trilogy put out by Threshold Studios with an $80 million budget, and it's going to be a science fiction thriller. Apollo, how do you feel about all this?
Science fiction thriller.
Thriller.
Let those words ring through your heads, ladies and gentlemen, because that is what the Tetris movie trilogy is going to be based around, with a $50 million budget. Oh my god, with an $80 million budget. I'm sorry, guys. They're starving people in the world right now, and somebody had $80 million lying around, and they said, I'm gonna make a Tetris trilogy today.
Fuck you guys. You know what the world needs? Tetris. All over.
Oh, we are fucked.
I know, it sucks, dude, because video game movies need a revamp, and this is not the right direction.
And this is retarded. Things are getting trilogies just because is that the new edgy thing? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Star Wars has been doing it for decades. Why do things that don't need trilogies fucking get trilogies? It makes no sense.
Guys, let's sit back for a second. Let's think of what kind of story we could actually put here. Like, what can actually happen to fit the Tetris game? Are they going to, like, build a giant wall to protect us from the aliens?
Have you seen Pixels? I'm assuming similar to that. Adam Sandler
but
bullshit.
Pixels had actual characters. These are blocks falling. Are aliens going to attack us with blocks falling
Exactly.
from the sky?
I literally think it's going to be that. You can't make anything thrilling about this. It's retarded. A sci-fi retard, like, genre. That's what it is.
I am not too thrilled at all. The first one's going to bomb, and they're going to scrap the trilogy. I'm calling it now.
I hope so.
Fingers.
For the sake of mankind.
People are going to go see that movie. You do know, because it is only Tetris. It will amaze them with curiosity.
I mean, hell, what if the trailer's amazing? And speaking of trailers, we're going to move on over to trailers of the week.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun. And the first trailer we had the chance to check out was Deepwater Horizon. Paulo, how did you feel about that trailer?
Well, I already saw the trailer before this in the theater, and it kind of piqued my interest. Like, it seems kind of intense, but it kind of seems like we already saw the whole freaking film. Cause
Every plot point.
it's just a guy, and he's on an oil rig. Some type of accident happens. They dig down too deep or some shit, and then they hit too high of pressure, and the whole thing fucking explodes and catches on fire. How much action could there possibly be? Like, it shows him jumping off this thing,
Which we think's the ending of him escaping.
that's probably the ending, because there's this explosion behind him and all this fire, and he's probably just jumping into the boat that's saving him. That's the end. We already saw the whole film.
Each plot point.
And not only was it cliche, they also did the thing where you Skype your loved one before the tragic thing happens.
It's,
like, it's always...
It interrupts the connection.
It's all in the trailer too, so it feels like you've watched the whole movie.
Seriously, I guarantee you, we just saw most of it. We got the emotional attachment to the family.
We know he's
got
the last man standing.
a nice patriotic shot of the American flag over the oil rig. I'm sure there'll be a lot of oil propaganda in there.
Oh my god. My parents just watched a movie that is just like this. You remember that trailer for that movie where that guy, he's a Coast Guard man, he has to get a boat to rescue another boat that's like people are drowning in the middle of this hellish storm?
Yeah.
It's the same trailer. He's Skyping his girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Something happens. He's like, the Coast Guard tells you have to come in. They don't say you have to come back. Like, that was one of the main things of the trailer. They get you going for that movie. No, fuck that. If this movie trailer tells you anything, this is my notes. I literally have this down. 1, boring. 2, predictable. 3, what? 4, hope is not a tactic? ?
Oh yeah.
I almost forgot about that part.
What kind of
Hold on, I
motto is
had the
that?
whole thing written down.
Yeah,
in
Paul's got the
in
lowdown.
our darkest hour, hope is not a tactic.
That's the
What
wrong
does that mean?
message.
I'm not sure what they're even
Conveying.
So there is no hope?
Don't
Or do not have hope?
Don't use it as a tactic.
Or don't use it as a tactic.
those who are near suicide, all hope is lost. Apparently, it's
Yeah,
not a tactic.
It's not a
apparently.
tactic.
I'm going in the closet real quick, fellas.
Please don't kill yourself. Please don't.
Don't kill
Anyone,
yourself in the
please don't.
closet.
That's the best place, I hear.
That's all the cool kids do.
I'm just kidding. Suicide serious. Don't kill yourself. But yeah, I'm not thrilled at all about this trailer. And we've already seen the movie, so why go?
Yeah,
see it?
I've already
I think
seen the movie.
We just saw it
I saw it for
summarized in
free.
like 30 seconds
Yeah,
in that
if you-
trailer for free.
Go check it out if you want to check out that movie.
I personally give this
It's on YouTube
ratings
right now.
of mids from the.
Oh yeah, what will you rate this movie, guys?
Oh, yeah,
I'll give it
actually-
a mids.
Mids, yeah, I've seen worse.
Pretty
but
paint
I'd
for the
watch it again.
numbers.
Man, that Skype call
Classic.
was really emotional
It
compared
was.
to all the other Skype calls I've seen.
I'm really glad he got out alive. Like, it was a good catharsis at the end. Okay.
Classic disaster film.
That accent
Check
was
it
an
out on
accent,
YouTube
oh
right
boy.
now. Our next trailer of the week was more of a teaser. It was for Beauty and the Beast live action. Roger, how did you feel?
Roger's unusually excited about this one.
I don't know why. I hate these Disney remakes, but this Beauty and the Beast one, it's probably one of my least have seen Disney movies. I like it. I don't hate it.
I like it quite a bit.
But it's like the one I wanted to see a real life adaptation because I wanted to see the Beast in real life.
Yeah.
Especially how much do they make it based off the cartoons to get it look different.
I hope he looks retarded.
And it's just like has a hunchback.
I want him to
me.
literally, like, because you know the moral of the whole story is that like she falls
Inner
in love with him
beauty.
for his
Yeah.
inner beauty.
Yeah.
I want him to look so fucking grotesque. That I don't want to look at the screen.
He has like a boil near his lip that you have to like bypass in order to kiss him.
I want people to be putting down their popcorn and stuff, but they can't eat it.
I
in the
can't
theater,
do
you know? Like, I want the inner beauty to really shine through, because that outer beauty better be gone, man.
Oh, but
And if you go through the numbers of the Disney movies, like most of them aren't that great. Like Alice in Wonderland,
Snow White.
Maleficent,
Snow
White
White.
and the Huntsman. What other ones do they do?
Alice.
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh yeah.
They've all been pretty trash. The only one they've done recently is Jungle Book, and I'm really hoping this lives up to Jungle Book in that level. Especially,
Damn, that was a banger.
it depends how they do the CGI furniture. If they are they going to do it as well as they did in Jungle Book? I'm hoping.
Well,
Same technology.
Emma Watson is the main lead right now compared to Jungle Book, who I didn't know the kid about.
I'll
and I was,
see it just for Emma Watson.
Yeah.
I usually thought Emma Watson's overhyped, but man, she looks fine, and she is definitely well casted to play as a smart girl who just, I don't know, wants to leave the village and join up with, I guess, and join bestiality. I must say, from the limited minute we saw the movie, the setting has it down perfectly. The decrepit looking castle, the painting looks like the fucking painting from the fucking Disney movie almost. I want to see, especially near the end with the ballroom dancing and everything changes back to its original form. I just want to see the setting so fucking much. I don't know why. It looks gorgeous. From the 1 minute I saw it, I was really hyped up for this.
And I really love the soundtrack they had in the trailer too. It was pretty phenomenal.
Cogsworth was the only one I was a little iffy with.
Oh, yeah.
Luminaire sounds great. Cogsworth, he sounds like he had cancer in his lung and they had to take half of the lung out.
Hopefully, it's
Maybe he
just one
did.
bad line.
He could, and I feel bad. I'm going to hell if I wasn't already.
Maybe becoming a clock doesn't do wonders for your voice, Roger. Consider that.
Oh yeah, true. Oh god.
I'm assuming being an inanimate object doesn't do wonders for
yeah,
for
for the lungs and all.
And I hope they get into the reproducing of the furniture as well.
Oh my
Do the
God.
clocks, the
Yeah.
candles reproduce. How's this
What
work?
if there's only one type of the object in the house? Can they not ever have sex, or are they all just kind of hang
Yeah,
each other?
the mop is unisexual.
Oh,
He kind of just
Oh
hangs
my
out in the closet
God.
and does,
some objects don't know if one object is a female or male, so they're both weirded out by it. And they,
You gonna learn today.
exactly.
Now that's Beauty and the Beast
You're gonna
I
learn to
wanna
go
see.
with your dick, not with your
Okay,
brains.
I'm guessing everything we just described is going to be in the next adaptation.
Yeah,
of Beauty and the
exactly.
Beast.
Yeah.
All
But
about
back to this
confirmed.
Yeah, this one. Pretty much the whole trailer was just tell people its existence.
And the movie is just out March 17th, 2017, so it should be easy to remember. 3/17/17.
Less than a year away. I'm pretty excited.
Here it comes.
We're going to continue trailers of the week. We're going to move on over to our video game news as well, with our first trailer being Return to Arkham, which is a HD remaster for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Will not feature Arkham Origins because Warner Brothers Studios made that not Rocksteady, so it won't be in this bundle, unfortunately,
Exactly.
but all the DLC will be. I'm really excited because this is my all-time favorite superhero game and one of my favorite franchises ever. I know the casual person might not be too thrilled about it because they might be tired of these remasters, but I'm just happy I get to replay it again in full 1080 60 frames and on the PS4, so I'm really excited for this.
I'll definitely probably get it because those were both banging games.
Oh yeah,
I never got to beat Arkham Asylum myself. I beat Arkham City, and that was fucking awesome.
Arkham Asylum is probably my fave or second fave, probably, to be honest.
And this bundle is the two best out of the three because Arkham Knight's the weak link, but it's still a great game.
For some reason, I couldn't ever really get into Arkham Asylum because it made me feel claustrophobic. I like the open world thing.
I know what you
You're
mean.
just kind of boxed in room by room by room, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh man.
You're in the asylum, boy.
See, and I normally would feel the same way, except I felt like when I beat down like thugs and shit, I was like clearing part of the asylum. Like guards will have an easy time going through this area because I cleared out this ward or something. I don't know. It felt like I definitely see what Apollo is saying, and I would mostly agree with you if it wasn't a well-constructed game.
I agree, and it's a great return to one of the best voice casts I've ever seen, and one of the best Batman stories out there. It's better than some of the comic books even.
Ooh. I actually would vouch for that one too.
What if they do a Killing Joke video game after the Killing Joke
No.
animated movie?
Spoilers for anyone that's read.
Actually, funny that you bring that up. Telltale's game might be about the Killing Joke.
Oh, actually,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That's a rumor going
Telltale
around.
Batman.
actually
Pound me
sounds
off.
like a good idea, to be honest.
Novel doesn't really have much action in it, so it kind of makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, I can see it.
I wonder if, as Batman, they will let you to choose to kill.
Oh yes. Oh.
Break your one rule, Batman.
Have you
But then
read The
somehow
Killing
it
Joke?
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that'd be perfect.
Yeah, very excited. That's coming out July 26th, and I'm getting it opening day, guaranteed. Moving on to our next video game trailer. It was for Ghost Recon Wildlands. Apollo, can you lay this down for us?
That trailer made the game look beautiful. If it's gonna be the way it looks, I'm hella excited. It seems like they're gonna take a lot of the elements that they should have put into the Division and put it in this.
Especially the big open world element. Which,
Oh yeah, and the different environments and stuff. Hopefully they throw in the destructibility of the maps of like they did in Siege, which makes
Yeah.
it so much more immersive and so much more replayable because there's so many different ways that things go down when you have the environment that realistic. So hopefully they learn from their mistakes and just kick it up a notch and do that.
Unless like they usually show in the trailer, I wouldn't hold my breath. But current console generation for movie or games such as Uncharted that has physics, like shooting physics, like what you just described, and shit like that, for a game that normally never would have had that, I expect any game now to have that from now on as like a main function, because it is a very immersive experience that I think most shooters definitely should fucking have.
One thing that I really loved when I played Far Cry 4 was how you could just fly around and just jump out of a helicopter and parachute almost anywhere, or paraglide.
Yeah.
You could get anywhere very quickly, and the world was huge and open and even tall.
Exactly.
I know what you're talking about, like that seamless traveling without any loading whatsoever.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Except for, occasionally you'd be moving way too quick and it would actually stop for a second and say loading.
That
that's
really happened.
That's a rare thing. But in the trailer, you actually got to see them jump out of a helicopter and then parachute down somewhere. So I'm guessing that's going to be in the fucking game, and I'm very excited.
What if they fast travel to like a different country or region? That's how you enter the fast travel area in a plane or something.
That'd be
and
cool.
then
That sounds like something Tom Clancy would do. He loves.
This can't be, in all seriousness, an open world game. That would just be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I just want to know how many more places do we have. I wonder how, because depending on the locations there, may actually depend on how fast I get the game. Because they're probably the DLC is going to be add new locations and better settings. And a heavy emphasis on vehicles, it seems.
A lot of vehicles to travel these wildlands.
Oh yes.
And that's usually different from Ghost Recon games or Tom Clancy games, so that's different to see. It's like more Battlefield approach, while Call of Duty.
Oh, what else are you gonna do? A horse?
So
Oh
far,
yeah, true.
They very well might.
A donkey.
Ooh.
Camels.
So far, these Tom Clancy games are pretty one for me. Siege I liked, and then Division I hated.
Yeah.
I can see going either way. I'm really more looking forward to the gameplay we're going to see at E3 before I put my judgment too harshly on it. But so far, it's looking really sick. It looks like it could be my favorite, and Ghost Recon has a pretty cool story. I'm excited.
Well, I'll only have to stay tuned till E3 until we get more info about it.
Moving on over to our next piece of video game news, it is confirmed that No Man's Sky has been delayed for 6 weeks. Damn, Roger, can you lay us down on this?
Why?
I've been waiting for No Man's Sky for about a year and a half, 2 years now, almost it seems at this point. I can wait 6 weeks. It's still gonna be the best game probably this year, unless Final Fantasy definitely pulls a 10 out of 10, like Uncharted level worth of shit. But so far, it's stiff competition this year for 2016 for video games.
and it's a game so big, one of the few games I could understand delay, because it's like it's creating all this giant universes.
It's a small team. We must understand. It's less than like 30 people, 20 people working on the biggest game that we can fathomably think of using math. So let's give them time. I'll give the creators a lot of time, as much as they need. I can understand for indie games.
A smaller game.
I'm disappointed we have to wait longer, but I guess I have to wait.
And our next piece of video game news is Xbox One is going to get a slim version later this year in 2016, and next year they're going to release
Xbox Scorpio.
Yeah, Scorpio, which is going to be like an upgraded Xbox One.
Retarded.
Roger, how do you feel about that?
About the slim thing, I was actually waiting for that for a while, for like the Xbox to bring something out like that. Scorpio thing, I'm actually very happy for, because if any of the console generations need an upgrade, it was definitely the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And with the Scorpio now exceeding over the Neo slightly, I mean, you're talking about slightly here. Like we're talking about teraflops on a GPU. I'm actually very excited, and I've always wanted to say I wanted to get an Xbox One, and I guess like I was waiting for the upgraded version because they suck right now.
I'm still not sold on Xbox One.
It's gonna be a while before I get this. So, I mean, I'm just assuming I'm gonna be getting this next year, but I could easily be wrong. But it's definitely something I can't wait to look forward to.
I'm even iffy if I get the Neo at this point, but I'm hoping these 4.5 or half edition consoles are cool.
I do it for VR. Anything for VR.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Yeah, that's the main point of these new things, to run VR smoother, and probably naturally the games will run smoother
and
too.
4K, more frame rates.
Yeah.
Anything that helps perform the graphics card a little bit faster.
The PS4 already can support 4K video, but not 4K video games.
Yeah.
But with the PlayStation Neo, it's going to be able to support 4K games as well, and I can only assume the Scorpio will too.
At this point, they're already making graphics higher than my eyes can even tell the difference.
Yeah,
so
honestly.
They've already lost me on that front.
The only thing they can really do is just add like a shit ton of NPCs in one room and make them look really good and really defined, and that's the only sort of like advantage I can see of like huge and awesome things to look forward to when it comes to these now more newly upgraded consoles every like 3-4 years.
And I'm hoping for both the Scorpio and the Neo that they both have like cheap ass trade-in values.
I agree.
Like if I trade in my PS4, I hope I only have to pay like $50 to $100 for this upgrade.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's around 1 to 2.
If it's 2, I might be like, nah, that's too much.
Yeah, fuck them.
That'll do it for video game news this week. Pretty few and far between, but stay tuned. In a couple weeks, we're going to be covering E3. I'm really excited. And before we get to our spoilers review, we have comic book news about Watchmen. They are actually being brought back into the DCU with DC Reboot. Basically, they're bringing back characters like Rorschach, the comedian, and whatnot. And I'm not quite sure if yet they're getting their own series, but they're going to show up in the DC Rebirth storyline. And basically, Dr. Manhattan is going to be the villain in this storyline.
Holy shit.
And basically the whole DCU is going to take him on. And basically this is going to represent, the creator said it's going to represent the DCU going back to the older, like, more lighthearted feel in the comic books. And they're taking on the gritty feel. But I wish they just leave Watchmen out of this, because it was a perfect standalone story, and I don't really want to see him interact with Batman or anything like that.
Especially if they're trying to make it more humorous. Like, it's just like Marvel coming in and like spreading their influence or whatever.
Spreading their retardation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I even hate that DCU is getting rebooted to begin with, because the New 52 was so great.
For that, I guess, maybe, because I guess they had such a bad start with arguably a bad start with Batman versus Superman.
No, the comic book.
Oh wait, I think you meant like the movies in general.
No,
I was like, why would they do that?
Books.
Oh, I thought that was like a Far Cry, like a rumor that was going around. I'm like, oh, I'm sure that won't happen, but
no,
okay.
This is legit happening in the comic books. The DC's rebooting, and this already happened. They're already rebooted, and this is all legit happening.
Okay, well, I mean,
It's happened and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
it's just, I wish Watchmen is like one of the few superhero movies that I feel like shouldn't be touched.
Yeah. And I feel like they're trying to like milk the cow with Watchmen too. And how are they going to explain Dr. Manhattan being the villain? And one key thing that stood out to me is that they're bringing back the comedian. Is he not dead anymore? Is he brought back to life?
We have the technology now. We can do it. And then they see the comedian's body on a corpse. On
the surface, I'm not pleased, but I'm actually so intrigued. I might read this just to see if it's...
Sounds interesting.
To see if it's good or not. And I might put up a review, depending on how I feel about it. And now we're going to move on over to our X-Men spoiler-heavy review. So if you have not seen X-Men, thank you all for listening. Comment, rate, and subscribe. See you guys next time. But for those who have seen the film, Paulo, lay us down on some spoilers. How do you feel about this?
Where to start?
I know.
Personally,
like we were saying earlier in the podcast, so much goes on in this film. It could be kind of overwhelming. That's why I want to see it again.
Me too. I want to see it again and digest it even further. But one scene that really stood out to me was when you saw Magneto's daughter and wife killed right before his eyes. And as they're dying in his arms, he's holding this silver necklace. And I remember just thinking, kill him, Magneto! Kill them all! And then he just fucking sends that thing whirling through the forest and kills fucking 10 cops just standing there in like a split second. It was pretty tight.
That was such an emotional scene, and like I was saying earlier, Fassbender played it off so well.
I felt the
That's
pain
why he
and
stole the
rage
movie
that
for
made
me.
him turn.
when he gets back, place he works at, and closes all the doors and everything.
Oh yeah,
That was intense.
You're all fucking dead.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I just couldn't.
Why would you
fucking
rat
wait.
on him for saving that guy?
I
They
know.
deserve to die.
Exactly. You all deserve to die.
Like, it almost made me lose faith in humanity when people just ratted on him because of that. I'm like, you fucking idiot. People just have to talk.
Yeah.
Thanks to fucking Facebook, social media, people have to post this shit.
They had to post it to the government.
Yeah, he posted on Facebook,
Well-
and look at what I found my coworker doing.
While we're on that scene real quick, do you guys think that daughter was Scarlet Witch, or how do you think that was going down? Because I don't read the comics at all, so I'm not sure.
I think they wanted to hint that it could have been, but I think based on the powers that she had, she wasn't. Based on the comics, it's weird that she's like
Because she's like a
daughter of
I thought it was
a gypsy.
I thought it was sad that it just hinted that she had powers too, and like she's calling in these birds to attack the police out of nowhere, but
just
she
to save
she
her
just
dad.
dies.
Yeah, just to save her dad.
No more birds ever again.
Oh, we must kill her. She's too powerful.
And it was weird how it was kind of an accident the way they both died. Like they didn't do it on purpose, but even so, like
They're fucked.
it reminded me of the turn of Two-Face in The Dark Knight. How it just completely broke him when he lost the one that he loved.
Where it's like no one's fault except for like the Joker. The reason why like wife and daughter even got shot is because that guy let go.
The guy was just staring.
Yeah,
at
he
the
was just
birds
holding
and
the bow back, and while the birds were flying at him, he accidentally lets go. Because like on the look on his face when he shoots it, he didn't want to do it at that time. At least I'm implying he didn't. So it's kind of having these unforeseen, horrible circumstances put on people that exactly isn't quite their fault makes it really more sad.
it showed.
Dude, but what about the opening scene when Apocalypse fucking like twists that guy into a pretzel and throws him at the wall?
That part I was literally
and
like, holy shit, this is an intense movie.
Yeah, and
You got crunched into a pretzel.
it really, and for the most of the movie, it really shows off how badass Apocalypse powers are. Like when it slices people's necks with the sand,
Turns
can
them
turn
into
people into
dust.
sand.
Oh,
yeah.
You mean the power that can turn people into dust, but mysteriously vanishes when he fights the X-Men?
No, I was going to get into that. That's why the ending scene's not so great. But I was also going to say why I also liked the ending scene on a different level, because I really liked the battle between him and Professor X.
That was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
And that was where the main focus of the fight really should have been more so.
It made it look better instead of just like boxing like this.
Well,
Come
no.
on.
At first they were boxing and they made it look like a cheesy... One thing I love about the movie, it looked
Video
like,
game.
It looked like Apocalypse was about to die in a cheesy way, like 3 different times. Like first...
But they didn't let it happen.
Yeah. First, like, she slices his neck. I'm like, oh, come on. Is he really going to die from that? But he just heals himself.
Oh, yeah.
When Professor X first goes in his brain, he starts beating the shit out of him. I'm like, all right, is he really going to get his ass whooped like
In
this?
his head.
Yeah. I was like, come on. But then they bring in Dark Phoenix and just make it badass.
And that cameo in with Jean Grey, that was well done. That was one of my...
That was very cool, and that is one fine, foxy lady.
There are like 3 main parts that pretty much like stood for me that kind of like that was like, oh yeah, this is why the X-Men is awesome. One, the random cameo of Wolverine.
Oh, and it was brutal,
that
kind of
was
hinting
tight,
towards
that
his
was
rated
tight.
R rating in the future.
Exactly, when we do see the radar, blood's gonna be everywhere. I can't wait for that shit.
Let the blood spill.
And it actually made sense, because where would he be in the 80s? And I didn't even think about it. It just caught me by surprise.
But since we're talking about like near the end sort of stuff, I will say this. Magneto was awesome throughout the movie, but his random turn on Apocalypse at the end...
It wasn't random.
It was... I mean, it wasn't random, but if Eric couldn't... I mean, if Professor Xavier couldn't get through to him...
But
like,
he's in love with Mystique.
That was the point. He got through to him over time. Like, he just didn't give up on him and kept trying to bring that good out of him. Okay.
I don't know.
Too pretentious.
I'm just saying, her speech wasn't mind changing. Like, there's no way anyone would have changed their mind if they heard Mystique's speech right then and there. But if Quicksilver would have talked about him being his son, it would have made it more impactful, and that would give him a reason to betray him. No, they didn't do that.
The part where they're on the mountaintop and Xavier's saying to Magneto, like, pain isn't the only thing you've ever known. You've just forgotten all the good. Like, they actually did a really good job getting into emotions and all that shit. Like, a lot of times it just seems like lame or forced. Like, the writers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It was just really well, and Xavier that actor just fucked that part up in the best possible way.
You're right, Apollo. The part that I really like about this movie is not the action, but the storytelling is what really drove this movie for me.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
I will say this, with the story, I think I understand, at least a modicum of understanding, why the critics probably have rated it so badly.
I feel like just because they looked for action, nothing else. That's how I feel about it.
No, because I think this X-Men homages back to the previous movies a lot.
Yeah.
Like the love interest between Professor Xavier, if you didn't see First Class or not even remember it, it's not going to mean shit for you. I didn't remember First Class. I forgot to watch it before
but Civil War did the same
care.
Shit.
I didn't see it either, so I had no clue what was going on.
I saw First Class, so luckily I knew.
Good for you, Homer.
But it is the end of the First Class trilogy, and I feel like they wrapped up the trilogy in a nice way.
That makes me sad because I want to see more.
Well, the First Class cast is going to continue. Just that particular trilogy has come to an end.
I was going to say, that would be like a short-lived sort of cast. I was going to say the old ones lasted a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Now they're going to move on over to the 90s. Dark Phoenix is going to be cool. And we're also going to get the X-Force, and we're also going to get Deadpool. A lot of cool stuff going forward for the X-Men universe. Roger, you're so right. One thing that really did tick me off, the more and more I thought about, was how Quicksilver didn't say to him about his father was.
I can understand why he didn't. He'll tell him maybe when he changes as a person, and it's not the right time. But it was right time when the world was fucking ending. The world was fucking ending, Quicksilver. You piece of shit.
I actually enjoyed that because I thought it would be extremely cheesy if they used that as a factor to turn Magneto back to the good side, but he doesn't even fucking tell him. And then he still comes around, so it was like...
True, it does show more character for Magneto, but I just
don't introduce it.
If this was a realistic situation, I mean, aside with all the other shit, if the world was about to end, I would use all my cards to fight, to persuade one of God's followers to betray him or something.
Ooh, I actually have a pretty good gripe with this one. Okay, so in the beginning, right? But right before Apocalypse is entombed inside of his own pyramid, what we're led to believe is that this guy is some type of, God, right? He must have some type of awareness of his surroundings and knowledge of at least the building of his own pyramid, right? These random couple guys manage to build a built-in system that they can activate with a swing of a couple hammers that brings the entire fucking temple down.
I actually agree with you on that. That was
you're
also...
You're telling me nobody noticed that.
Yeah.
You're telling me they built that in and it's just...
cave-ins. If it collapses a little bit, it collapses the whole system, the whole tunnel.
That was a very intricate system. These bricks just go down this thing and just how did they do this?
I find it weird that just random citizens just found that tomb all the way down there and they knew how to activate it, which is Egyptian, that's thousands of years old.
Well, it was the sunlight that they needed to
I thought that was the incantation as well, or was that?
Well,
no,
those people were just worshiping him just naturally because they remember him.
Oh, that's weird.
But it was that bitch that let in the sunlight onto the tomb and it activated.
So if he didn't get crumbled, if it didn't, no, it didn't need sunlight because that tomb would have been in the sun at one point when it first crumbled, and then stuff buried over it in time. So there was always light on it at some point for a while.
There was the rag over it. You remember? There was a rug. But then that woman, the CIA woman, had to come in. She
opened it.
Knocks that guy out and
Wasn't the whole
opens
pyramid
it.
destroyed though? the whole pyramid. Like,
Yeah,
everything,
it
like,
just
the whole
collapsed
thing
in on
And then like
itself.
it falls into a cave or something
Yeah.
weird.
Oh
goes
yeah,
down
you're
deep.
right. It did fall into a cave. I forgot because there was a really long free fall section,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is like
And that chick sacrifices herself, which was again really cool.
that was just so weird. You have her, a faithful follower to the very end, and
Yeah.
then and when he comes back to life, you have people betraying him left and right. I couldn't respect this guy.
Maybe it's because they changed their mind and didn't
Who
want to
wait?
destroy
Who
the whole
all
world,
betrayed him?
okay?
It was Magneto.
Storm. She didn't protect him in the fight when he needed
Oh,
it. She
fucking
could have.
Birdman.
She was watching.
I mean, the angel, he died, so...
Yeah.
Useless.
He was useless.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was literally useless.
It was cool. At first, I thought it was going to be cheesy, and he was going to actually grab onto the group and get teleported away.
'Cause-
Instead, he's just like, oh
No.
shit, and the plane just boom.
You guys should have saw my facial expression when Apocalypse showed up with his crew and they were all in their different attire and whatnot. And they first showed the angel guy with steel wings in a leather outfit. It almost, when he first arrived on scene, it almost looked like a boy band or something at first. Like it's like the starting of a cover. Like
He
he
was
just had
very
this
boy bandish looking,
no
in sync looking ass.
blonde
Yeah.
curly
Yeah.
hair with the oh my god, it was just funny as fuck. I'm glad they changed the outfits near like the ending of the fight for some reason, something more badass.
Basically, for me, it was pretty phenomenal up to the ending fight. So
Even then, it wasn't bad. It's not
No,
like
no, yeah,
Fantastic
yeah.
Four bad.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
yeah,
making
no.
it seem like it's way
yeah,
worse
yeah,
than
the
it is.
Fantastic Four. The ending fight is literally
Pebbles.
boulders being thrown.
No, Doctor Doom beats
Oh,
the
yeah.
Fantastic Four with pebbles. he
The
just
ending fight was the weakest part of this movie, and it was still a million times better than fucking Fantastic Four.
all the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Literally,
So don't
four
get us
things
on.
happened, and then it ended. Okay, we're off Fantastic Four, though. My rant. Just
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
my ranting.
Yeah, stop us before we get unleashed.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. When the part with Apocalypse, when he ruined a Hugh... Oh, I was having a gripe with this in the movie when it first started. Apocalypse sends all the nuclear missiles on Earth up into the atmosphere. His name is Apocalypse, and he's a
Yeah.
god after all, and he wants to create a new Earth. So obviously you know what's going to happen. He's just going to bring them down, destroy everything. No.
Maybe
just
it's-
shoots them up in the air, just lets them go into
The
space.
atomic energy would have killed off a lot of fucking mutants.
Maybe-
and
If,
stuff, though.
if
Yeah,
they're called
well,
he just-
mutants,
he
he
just-
wants that
he
atomic
just-
energy.
he
That
just
creates
wanted to-
mutant genes.
to essentially like recycle the Earth in and of itself, and then like the mutants would be left to fight.
Oh, you have Storm. If you can keep Storm alive and send all those nukes down, she's a weather machine.
Yeah.
Boom. Life will begin anew somehow with Storm. And even if it didn't, he just needs a handful of mutants to survive, which they could survive a nuclear holocaust
Yeah.
if you have a god that's protecting you.
Very true.
But
so I'm just saying that was stupid.
There are a lot of little
There's
things like
no,
that.
there's no.
He could have turned them all to dust, but he didn't.
Like-
Why?
The reason, yeah, and like the reason why they had to stop him, like the nuclear missiles weren't like a big enough reason to stop him. No, he's about to get Professor X's powers. Now he'll be like invincible. I'm like, he had nuclear weapons a while ago. Like,
Yeah.
he could just send it down while they're coming
Yeah, but
down.
in-
Just
in a-
steal his power.
In a way, getting Xavier's powers would be worse than just destroying the world with nuclear weapons.
Plus, if you bring the nukes down, you can't keep Xavier. Would he survive?
One part that I really loved in the ending fight scene was when Xavier was basically fighting Apocalypse in the astral plane, and he just starts like, you know, kicking his ass with these boxing moves, and I thought it was cool that he could walk too. I liked how what Apocalypse was going for was taking his body so he could get his powers and see into everyone's heads. But then when they're in the astral plane, he just grabs his head and he's like, "You want to see you want to feel what I feel and see what I see," and it just like overwhelms him with all that shit, and like
Yeah.
it was kind of cool to see.
That was a cool moment where he's like, "Here, have just a brief taste of my power." I didn't know Professor X can hear everyone, like at least in a huge proximity all the time. I thought it was all Cerebro. He had to do all that.
Well, that's
too.
for the whole world.
I
but
guess, yeah.
like,
If he
near
wants to
him, he
concentrate on one person, probably. I guess I didn't know
Yeah.
he was just that powerful. It's enough you can influence and warp a mind like that
I agree.
alone.
But it's funny that you bring up that he's walking, because you guys remember X-Men Origins, when they have the end credit scene where it shows Professor X walking, and they just never touch on that again?
what?
Oh yeah, you're
Are you
right.
joking?
No, that's the end credit scene for X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Is it supposed to be in the...
I don't know what it's
Wait.
supposed to be.
Was he walking? Or was he in the bed?
No, remember, he gets on, it's at the airport, Professor X shows up in his wheelchair, then he gets up, and he's like,
yeah.
Logan.
I always thought this. If he can I thought he could just telekinesis himself, like
maybe
and
that's what it
move his
was.
legs with his mind.
But why would that be an end credit scene?
True, good point. Because he got vaporized by the Phoenix, so
That's
unless the
fucking
Phoenix
retarded.
resurrected him, I don't know.
Yeah, so
Unexplained.
that's one funny thing. Despite all the problems, everything, more good than bad in this, so it keeps my wax minus rating. Recap your rating, good.
Wax. Because it was boss. However, even though I loved it and I recommend everyone go see it,
Definitely still has problems.
there was literal parts where I could see that it was green screen.
Oh,
even
yeah.
where it didn't
Some of the
have
CGI.
It didn't have to be green screened. And then some of the CGI was just like, I mean, it was only for like rare moments. Like if you like looked too closely at certain things, then you would notice like, what the fuck? But,
Near the
but
end, especially.
overall, as a whole, it was beautiful.
I give it a dank, and I strongly advise that is definitely a worthy movie to go see in theaters. You're definitely gonna get your bang for your buck for this, especially for us. We went in the morning, so we got $5 for this.
Yeah.
Easy. Apocalypse's costume looks absolutely garbage.
I disagree. Hold
It was
on.
okay.
It was just okay. Yeah.
That was just another reason why I couldn't, I don't know, into him, I guess, as much. He just looked like a blue Smurf.
That'll do it for this week's episode. Thank you all for listening. We have StonermanShow.com finally launched and ready to go. That's why this is a very special 50th episode. As the podcast Stoner Stories, character bios, and it gives you all the information about our show and why you should donate.
Our character bios are pretty hilarious, and the site's looking clean.
It's way better than that beta site, stonerman.net. Get that.
Beta.
And the mobile site works for once now, so check it out.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have a fucking mobile site. It's 2016.
Yeah, dude, 2 short stories written by yours truly. I find them personally hilarious.
Cool.
Pretty
Here's
dark.
this table, here
they
we
go
come.
to dark places. I'll give you that.
They go to dark, strange places.
And as always, stay lifted, my friends.
Good night, everyone. Tuck in your children, pet your cats, and set your alarms. I love you.
Make sure to drive safely, everyone, tonight, and always remember, may the force be with you.
Always.
And forever.